What's up, all me Yorkshire's George and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing a review of Ahsoka Episode 5. But before I get into that, I want to address the elephant in the room because there's a bunch of brand new people that I've never seen before commenting on my channel and my videos and my posts on Twitter and Instagram, screaming at the top of their lungs because they are so angry that that Star Wars girl, I don't like Disney Star Wars. I don't. And I'm kind of shocked because where have you been all these years? I became a person on the internet because of my absolute fundamental disgust, disappointment, and hate for this thing that Disney wants to pose and do a weekend at Bernie's and tell me it's really Star Wars, because it's not. It's really bad fan fiction. I have been saying that from the very beginning, how much I passionately despise Disney Star Wars and what they've done to this universe and these characters that George Lucas created. I've never hid my hatred for that. Yes, I think Baby Yoda is cute, but that's about it. So for people that are shocked by this, it's like, well, hi, welcome. If you don't like me and my opinions on things, that's fine. You don't have to, get your panties in a twist because some stranger on the internet has an opinion that you don't agree with. Now, the reason why I am that Star Wars girl and I talk about Star Wars, even if you don't like what I say about Star Wars, is because I've been a Star Wars fan my entire life. When I graduated high school, I gave a speech all about George Lucas and how he's my hero and how much I love Star Wars. I went to college to study how to make video games and animation so I could work for George Lucas at Lucasfilm and work on special effects, the video games, the TV show. I didn't care as long as I was working on Star Wars. And then George Lucas sold to Disney and I was like, I have to reevaluate my life because I don't want to work for Disney. And then I went to the theater and I sat there and I was expecting to see Han, Luke, and Leia, R2-D2, C-3PO, and the magic of Star Wars. And instead, I got a big FU of subverting expectations. So yeah, I'm pretty pissed about that. I'm pretty pissed about what they did to Star Wars. And I haven't hid that fact at all. Now, when it comes to Ahsoka, I watched the Clone Wars. For those of you that think I didn't, I watched Rebels. Again, for those of you that think I didn't, where do you think I have all of this knowledge on the things? And using my life acquired knowledge, that all this knowledge that I've been acquiring my entire life as a Star Wars fan, I'm giving my commentary and my opinions on these things. And if you can't take criticism, especially criticism of a TV show from a multi-billion, well, I mean, maybe they don't have multi-billions anymore, but a multi-billion-dollar company, and you think that they're above criticism, I don't know what rock you're living under, but I think it's time to get out from under that rock and smell reality. So now that that's out of the way, I'm going to get on to the review of this episode. If you're still crying about it, again, build a bridge and get the fuck over it, because there's people out there that are going to have a different opinion than you. And if you can't get through that in life, I mean, this is probably going to be the smallest problem you have. You're going to have a really hard life if you can't take the fact that people on the internet have different opinions on you. Now, if you're one of those people that's open-minded and awesome, you know who you are, and you're okay with liking something and listening to a person with a different perspective and different view and different opinion than you, but you're still like, oh, I liked it. How come people didn't? Let me sit here and I'm intrigued. I want to know why. Well, then you're going to enjoy this video. And if you guys like my content already, then sit back because you guys are in for another video and you guys all know what to expect. So now that very long disclaimer is out of the way, let's get on to the review. Episode starts off with Hera showing up with her son, and they're like, where did Ahsoka and Sabine go? Well, we all know what happened to Sabine, so let's talk about Ahsoka. Now, this is a scene that I feel like everyone was waiting for Anakin, live action Anakin and Ahsoka to be together on screen, live action. Hayden Christensen is, still around and willing to work, obviously, and we got Rosario Dawson, as much as people want to say that I criticize everything and that I complain about everything, I love Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. I love the actress Rosario Dawson, so I was happy with the casting. I mean, she looks like the animated version of Ahsoka. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. Like, you know, in theory, but you know, the way Disney is, they always ruin it. So it's this weird, so this is the world between worlds. For those that didn't watch Rebels, it's this like time travel wolf magic shit that Dave Filoni inserted into Star Wars so that way he could bring back Ahsoka because she was supposed to die in, spoiler alert, Rebels season, what was it, season 2 finale? She faces off with Vader and dies to sacrifice herself so that way everyone can get off. So she is in this world between worlds, but it's not really the world between worlds. It's like her imagination because she fell off the cliff into the ocean and she's drowning, but she's using the Force to save her and do this whole mind. So everything that happens between her and Anakin is in her mind, and Anakin calls her Snips, and of course I'm sure people screamed about that. And he's like, I gotta teach you something. And then they do this terrible, absolutely horrendous lightsaber duel. And I am not a fighter. I'm not good at fighting. I've been in plenty of fights. That's how I know that I'm not good at it. I am a girl. I will play this card for those women that want to get really mad at me, which is surprisingly, actually, you know, pleasantly surprising. Not very many have. And when I tell people, like, I'm a girl, I have no interest in learning fighting. I mean, I like shooting those things that you're not really allowed to talk about on YouTube, but the real life version of a blaster, like that is fine. Like I feel like that's more of a skill, like target practice. But as far as fighting with swords, I'm like, I feel like that's a cool thing to do at cons, but that's not really a skill that I don't have very much time, and I feel like they're heavy, and I don't really have any interest in learning them, but that's fine. I'm a girl. I don't know very many men that are interested in the difference between lip gloss, lip stain, and, you know, liquid lipstick, right? And I know that is the most like ridiculous feminine comparison, but it's true. Like I could not get my dad or my fiance or my brother to have any interest in how I apply makeup or how I do my hair. They no interest. That is the same amount of interest that I have in learning how to fight. Now, the reason why I preface that so much is because of this terrible fight. Now, watch as I play this here with Anakin. Watch what he does. So watch. He's going for her lightsaber. They both could have killed each other. Anakin would have lost both of his legs, even though for some reason here he still has his hand in both of his legs. I guess it's because of her imagination. She didn't see him without those. But I'm just like the spinning that like they're going for each other's lightsabers. No! When you are trying to fight someone, you are gonna go for their arms, their legs, their stomach, their head, their neck. This entire little sequence is them just walking back and forth, basically with a memorized choreographed that's the word I was looking for, choreographed dance, and they're just hitting each other's lightsabers. That's not how it works. You want to know why Anakin lost his arm and his legs and his first arm? It's because, Christopher Lee, Count Dooku, he was going for Anakin's arm. He wasn't going for his freaking lightsaber. That's how Anakin lost his arm. Obi-Wan Kenobi, was he, as Anakin jumped over him to get to the high ground, was he going for his lightsaber? No! He cut off his freaking arm and his other arm and both of his legs. That's how Anakin became a stump. Like, what is this? And then Anakin, watch. He's gonna do like a spin in a second. Look how he stops. And then wait for it. Look, they're hitting each other's lightsabers. Watch, he's gonna do a spin. Wait for it. Look, the Force. They're like staring at each other. And she does a little kick spin. She kicks him in the head. His spin's going to come up in a minute. I know I hyped it up. But she did the whole spin in the air. And Mofo did not use the Force to push her, to freeze her, to choke her, to pull towards her so he could stab her. No, he let her do the spin and kick him in the fucking face. That is not Anakin Skywalker. That's not Darth Vader. If this mofo was that terrible at fighting, there is no way he would have survived the Clone Wars. Now watch. He's gonna do a spin. He's gonna do his little spinny. 1 second. All right, I got it. Here it is. Watch. Look, he does this spin. Like, what? And she just stood there. She just stood there as he's, like, just spinning his lightsaber. And it's barely in the shot. You can only see, like, his shoulders and stuff for that part. So you had to have this stupid spin that Anakin is doing. She just stands there and watches, and then he attacks her. It's so stupid. That's not how fights work. And then we have flashbacks to the Clone Wars, and we have Ahsoka and Anakin fighting side by side in the Clone Wars. Now, I feel like I should have seen this coming because Sideshow and their Hot Toys came out with this Anakin Skywalker Clone War edition where he's in his Clone Wars armor. I did buy this, so when I saw that, I was like, I see what they did there. See, they just have him kind of a little bit shorter hair than in the figure, but still, it's like, I see what you did. Marketing. What is it that Yogurt said in Spaceballs? Merchandising, where the real money from the movies are made, which is true considering George Lucas became a billionaire off of the Star Wars toys. But let's get back to on topic because I'm going off on a tangent. But anyway, you always look at the toys, guys. The toys will tell you. The toys will give you spoilers. But so we have this flashback where Ahsoka has all of her memories from present, and she is talking to Anakin, but she's like back in the Clone Wars time. So it's like a flashback, but she's completely lucid of the fact that it's a flashback and the time that she is in now. She has this whole conversation with Anakin about how people die and it's her fault because she didn't do the right thing at the right time, and Anakin's like, everything is about choices and you live or you die. And then watch this, because this is actually like the only cool thing in this episode, and it just makes me think back of the cool poster from episode 1, everyone's favorite. But watch Anakin's shadow. Okay, he's Anakin Vader. Bam, 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 bam. And that's the only cool part of it, where he's switching back between Anakin and Darth Vader. That I will give them props to, but that's not even really them. That's more so just ripping off a poster from the prequels. And then we get this shot of Anakin and Ahsoka and him giving her the lesson about living and dying and saying about the legacy, that she's part of this ultimate big fantastical legacy. Now, me, as a person that knows the people that are running the things behind the scenes, you know, the man behind the curtain, I know what Dave Filoni is doing. He is trying to replace everything that Luke Skywalker did with Ahsoka. If you don't believe me, all the receipts are there. Just open your eyes and look. So I don't really want to get into the nitty gritty of that, but it's so insanely frustrating. I mean, they literally stole heir to the Empire, and now they're giving it from Luke and Leia to Ahsoka. Now Anakin's here saying the legacy. I get it. Ahsoka is a beloved character. It is pulling on your little heartstrings about having Anakin and Ahsoka back, especially in this context. I mean, if you can tell by her headpiece and her outfit, like what time period this is much closer to the ends of the Clone Wars and, you know, the later season of the Clone Wars. And so we already know what's going to happen. Anakin is going to become Vader very, very soon after this supposedly, scene that we're watching, its live action version, is taking place. And Ahsoka even says by this time she had already left the Jedi Order and all of that happened in the Clone Wars. If you don't know, then go back and watch and find out why she left the Jedi Order. It's kind of messed up. But Anakin is having this conversation with her, giving her this lesson in the future, and because she doesn't do what he wants, he goes to fight her again. I feel like all the show was Dave Filoni being like, I want to see Ahsoka on the screen, and I want to see her finding Anakin. Giggity. Like, that's all this is. Like, yes, this is a cool shot right here, but I can see that it's very clearly on a sound stage with special effects and smoke. Like, the smoke machine, and it's Anakin fighting Ahsoka live action. Yay, I guess. I don't know about you guys, but I would much rather have all of the millions of dollars that they spend on the show go into the story and actually telling a good story, as compared to let's do all of these flashbacks with special effects just so that way we can get our little member berries and have some things that we saw animated now in live action. It's fine if you have little Easter eggs here and there, but when your entire show is built off of, oh, remember that thing? Remember that thing? Remember how that was animated? Now it's real. It's like, what are we doing? You might as well just said, hey, we're gonna just redo all of the Clone Wars and all of Rebels and just say it's just a straight up copy, but instead they're like, look at this new thing, but remember that old thing? Like now it's like this. And it's just, guys, you don't need to do this by pulling on the nostalgia heartstrings. You could just have a story with all of, you know, those people and these things and continue the story instead of just, hey, flashback, hey, look at this, hey, look at this. Remember this stuff that we've these stories we've already told, and now we're just rehashing them and wasting all of this money instead of telling something new and doing something new with these characters. But that takes creativity. I digress. Let's get back to the review. So it cuts back to Anakin and Ahsoka fighting. As you guys can see, Anakin has his evil Sith eyes and is like, ah! You got millions of dollars and that's what it looks like. Dear freaking Lord, they need George Lucas back because, oh my, the special effects are terrible. George Lucas created ILM and basically made special effects the Hollywood standard. And this, we get cheap, crappy looking contacts. Like, really? George Lucas was doing this better in the 70s, 80s, and 90s and early 2000s. Like, this is what we're doing. 2023, and this is the best you can come up with. Good gosh, this is terrible. But then he goes back to being good because Ahsoka stops fighting him. He's like, very good, Snips. Yay, pat on the back. And then Snips wakes up. She's floating in the water, and she gets picked up by the X-Wings and taken to safety. But now I gotta go and retract a little bit because we got to talk about what Hera and everyone else was doing. Okay, so earlier in the episode, Hera shows up on the planet and she's looking for Ahsoka, she's looking for Sabine. They can't find him. They've been doing sweeps of the planet. All of the people in the New Republic seem to be really pissed that this chick with like, what, 4 other ships are not where they're supposed to be. And it's like, don't you guys have bigger problems than worrying about what Hera is doing with like her 4 X-Wing friends? It's kind of ridiculous. And then they make a like little tiny little line about Leia Organa and how she's trying to buy them time. I'm like, you mean the woman that's running the show? Or did they completely demote Leia? Well, they kind of demoted her. Everyone's like, she's a general now. I'm like, you do realize a general is a demotion from freaking royalty? I would rather be a princess than a general. Princess Leia was running the freaking Rebel Alliance as a princess. Demoting her to general is such a slap in the face, but so many, like, woke women are like, oh my gosh, she's a general now. She's a general. I'm like, you do realize that that's a demotion, right? Like, the president is higher ranking than a general. A princess is higher ranking than a general. All Disney did was demote a woman from a position of power to a lesser position. It's stupid. And whenever you point this out, like they don't know what to do. Like women, especially the ones that, you know, freak out about this kind of thing, they're so proud because she's a general. It's like, it's a demotion. That's stupid. Why are you proud that Disney demoted Princess Leia? And they don't know what to say, so they just block you, or they call you a racist incel, and then it's like, I'm a woman and I'm, you know, planning my wedding. But whatever. So back to this. So they're mad at her because she's off doing this, and it's like, that's one of the stupidest things, and they want her to come back. And it's like, out of all of the things they could be worrying about, they're worried about this chick and a couple of her ship's friends. But so anyways, in Rebels, she was banging the Jedi, and so this is her son with the Jedi, Kanan, and he died in Rebels. But it's Disney, so nobody's ever really gone. So he's like, Mom, she's in the water. There's something in the water. Listen. So he's using his Force ability since his dad was a Jedi. So he's Force sensitive too. He's able to like give his mom the power or share his power with the mom so she can hear that there's something in the water. And it's really weird the way that just everyone is able to use the Force now. Like, that's Disney. They're like Oprah when she was giving out cards, like, you get the Force and you get the Force and you get the Force. So everybody just has the Force, and the Force can be loaned to them in some weird plot armory way. So he's like, she's in the water, and then there's a line that David Tennant's droid like says about, oh yeah, he's got special abilities just like his father Kanan. And then I already know people that watch it are like, oh my god, they mention him. It's like, of course they're gonna mention him. It's his, you know, ex-lover and son that are here in this show. Of course he's gonna get mentioned. It's kind of hard not to mention him, but whatever. So that because of that, they were searching, and that's how they're able to find Ahsoka. So yeah, not really important, which is why I'm not mentioning it until now. But now that I mention it, now you know how they were able to find her and happened to be in the right place at the right time. Again, pretty strong plot armor, but it's Disney Star Wars. All of the women have the most insanely strong plot armor imaginable. And here we have Ahsoka, and she's about to wake up on her ship. And it's the first time we really see her without her head armor. I'm like, oh, I'm actually more impressed by their makeup now. I was like, oh, I actually think this looks a little bit better without her little headband, because I feel like it looks more natural on her. I honestly think it like helps her face. Like Rosario Dawson, I think, is very pretty. So just like, I don't know, like the little decorative piece, I mean, it makes sense in animation. I don't really know how it's attaching onto her, but I actually like this. I don't know, like it's like, oh look, she's Sleeping Beauty now, right? It's Disney, because I don't know, Sleeping Beauty or Snow White, you guys can pick and let me know. But she wakes up and she's all smiley. She got her headband back on. She goes and sees Jason, and she's like, oh, he's strong in the Force and he found me. And it's like, yes, do you know, everyone in Star Wars now can use the freaking Force. Non-Force users, everyone is, again, it's like Oprah, you get the Force and you get the Force. Homegirl wouldn't train baby Yoda. She's not hanging out with Luke Skywalker, Leia Organa, but she's like, oh, this person, this insignificant person like Sabine, who can't even really use the Force at all. Jason, who like is barely gonna be able to use the Force, maybe with some training, but it's like baby Yoda. Like, it makes me so angry because there's no intelligence behind anything. And, I mean, that's Disney Star Wars for you. Again, it's very, very bad fan fiction with poor writing and poor strategy. You're telling me that Baby Yoda, one of the most strong, like Yoda himself, one of the most strongest Force users to ever live, she knew Yoda. She sees, oh, hey, there's a baby version of you who's also strong on the Force, who also desperately needs help, who is dealing with all of their emotions. Who better to train him than, I don't know, Miss Ahsoka? You know, she's like, oh yeah, hi Luke, I knew your dad. I knew what he was like before he became Darth Vader. Let me not sit here and reminisce about him and tell you all about your parents, because guess what? I knew both of them. Hey, Miss Leia Organa, you know how you're starting to learn how to use the Force and all that? No, let me help you. Nah, I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that. I'm Ahsoka Tano. I'm way too good for that stuff. Baby Yoda, you might just be Yoda's son or his clone or just as strong as Yoda. Oh, you need help? You need help, little cute baby? Well, I'm not going to help you. Hey, random kid whose mom I'm friends with. Your dad died. I didn't really help him that much, but hey, maybe I'll help you. Hey, chick who literally can't use the Force. I'll help you. I'll train you. You can be my Padawan. Maybe she's doing this. I just had this kind of like epiphany as I'm ranting about this. Maybe she did that because she doesn't want to like get disappointed and like have somebody that she loves that is using the Force is strong enough to become as evil as Anakin. Maybe, but that's literally me coming up with an excuse for Disney shitty writing, which I'm going to stop doing. So she has her little moment with Jason and Hera, and she's like, I know how to find Ezra, the space whales. But before the space whales come into play, guess what? The bad guys show up, which is their allies, quote unquote, and it's a ship of strong, independent women. You see, there's a strong, independent woman. The pilot and the other person that speaks on this ship is a strong, independent woman, and they're like, we were sent by the New Republic to come and check on you and to make sure you do your job. It's like, bitch, really? Why? You guys have, like, they were complaining about all of their issues before. like all of the stress that they're under, all the stuff that they have to do, but they can spare one of their lead ships to go off to some planet to go and see what Ahsoka and Hera are doing. Are you kidding me? Like, Disney is so bad at this stuff. So they're telling me that the Republic that's ran by pretty much all women. Well, this is them making women look bad. You're telling me that with all of this stuff, the threat of all of the people that are still loyal to the Empire, running all of these new planets, or, you know, taking over all these new planets and implementing all of these new laws and regulations, undoing all the evil that the Emperor did, you know, having to set up new trade routes, new forms of currency, and, you know, just dealing with all of the changes that happen when one government falls and another takes over. And this is not just like, you know, a planet-wide thing. This is across an entire galaxy. So they're dealing with all of these issues, and instead of just being like, Hera will show up when she does, we don't have the ships to spare. They're like, we don't have the ships to spare. And they said that's why Hera couldn't go on this mission. That's why they want her back so badly, is because they don't have the ships to spare. And what do? Oh, well, Hera didn't listen to us? Remember those ships that we said we didn't have to spare to back you up? We're going to send them, and they're going to yell at you and tell you that you're going to lose your rank if you don't come back. And it's like, you mean the chick that helped you win the war? You're going to take away her rank. How stupid. Disney, it's like they're like, well, if we just put all women in positions of power, that's going to make them look strong. No, all you're doing is showing how incompetent all of these women are. It's retarded. And then Ahsoka is, I feel like they watched Dune. They watched Dune and they're like, let's do that. So we have the space whale, and they're the way that it looks, it just, remember Dune, like part 1 when it was coming out, and they're doing all the advertising for the worms? Like that's what this gave me. Like, that's the vibes. But so Ahsoka flies her ship into the space whales, and the space whales are going to take her to where Ezra and Thrawn are. And so she gets in the whale, they take off and go to the other galaxy, and Hera is left with having to deal with everything back here, and that's the end of the episode. But remember, everyone, I'm not a real Star Wars fan, because I don't just sit back and go, oh my god, that was the greatest thing ever. No, guys, because I've seen movies before. I have read books before. It's not a very high standard, I think, to ask for a well-written story, especially when you have millions of dollars. Disney, you have billions of dollars, and you're spending millions of dollars on this show instead of just rehashing things that were in an animated show. Why don't you do something new? And also, the way that those space whales were animated, doesn't it, guys, like, if you guys watch it, it like really reminded me of The Matrix. Peaches had like really no idea. He was just walking in and out of the room, and he's like, is this like a new Matrix movie? I was like, no, this is like the Star Wars Ahsoka show. And he's like, why do those things look like the things from the Matrix? And I was like, oh yeah, they do, huh? I mean, they ripped off the space whales from Star Trek, so now I'm like, oh yeah, they do kind of move around like the things from the Matrix, huh? Funny. It's almost as if Dave Filoni, all he knows how to do is rip things off, just like this entire, you know, little plot with Ahsoka and Anakin. Look at this post from Richard. Remember that Filoni ripped off a better EU story and executed it extremely poorly, but Star Wars shills will still call it good because Hayden showed up for 5 minutes for new boat money. It's just so annoying because it could be so good. There were some episodes of the Clone Wars that were fantastic. You know who wrote those episodes? Katie Lucas. I don't know, maybe give her a call. They're all about whammon. Katie Lucas wrote the best episodes of the Clone Wars, hands down. She's a whammon. She's also, I don't know, this guy named George Lucas. She's kind of his daughter. Take it, she's adopted, but she's still his daughter. So why don't you give her a call? Because she's awesome. She's fantastic. She introduced really cool stuff in the Clone Wars. She wrote, I'm one of those people, I love like the dynamics between characters. She's really freaking good at that. So I don't know. Why not give her a call? Oh yeah, that's right. She's connected to George, even though George, the man who created this, they don't want anything to do with him. But they'll have Dave Filoni, little Dave Filoni that likes to rip off the EU and be like, oh yeah, Ahsoka and wolves. And, oh yeah, I'm not going to give credit to people that rip off the EU. And then, oh yeah, Katie is going to like call me out on that live on air. Awkward, huh? Yeah, that clip's out there. You guys should go check it out where Dave's like taking credit. And then Katie's like, no, actually, we got that from the EU, remember? And he's like, oh, yeah. This is shit because that's the kind of person that we have running Star Wars. And some people are like, he's saving Star Wars. I was like, why? Because of the shitty special effects that are on a soundstage? Like, have some standards, have some pride, have some dignity. But I don't know. It's just, it's so bizarre to me. But I mean, I don't know. It's a strange world that we live in. But yeah, guys, the show's just not good. It's not. It's just them saying, hey, remember that thing in this one show, this one cartoon? Well, now it's live action and it was done better on a lower budget, animated, which is really, really sad. Like, with all of the money, all of the resources that they have, they could be making something like so freaking amazing, and they're not. It's just mind-blowing. Look at the show Squid Game. It's a Korean show, and it didn't even have half the budget. Probably even a fraction of the budget that this show has. And it's more intriguing. There's more character development. Yes, there's no flashy lightsaber effects, but there's people on freaking YouTube that can do it better than Disney can. So why don't, if you guys want, like maybe hire somebody that's good at writing and call up some of the people on YouTube. I guarantee you they're cheaper than whatever they're paying to do that shit. Lightsaber effects and sound stages and smoke machines. The guys on YouTube could probably do it much better for a fraction of the price. Call up the people that wrote Squid Game and be like, hey, do you guys like Star Wars? Hey, can you try to write something kind of intriguing and we want like this to happen in the end goal? I guarantee it. Anyone that's not working at Disney could make better Star Wars than the people that are working on Star Wars. I guarantee it. This is some of the worst fan fiction I have ever seen. And it breaks my heart because I want it to be good so bad. I want Star Wars to be what it was. And it's just not. And it's so disappointing. Even George Lucas said so himself, that they're going on a different path than what his Star Wars was. And it's really unfortunate. But anyways, I've rambled long enough. Guys, let me know what you think about all of this down below in the comment section. If you guys agree with me, let me know. If you disagree with me, definitely let me know. I'm interested to see what rebuttals you guys have to this entire thing. And if you guys like this video, thank you so much. Consider smashing the like button. If you haven't already, smash the subscribe button or ring that bell for notifications. Make sure that that bell is set to all, that we actually get notifications when I post videos and when I do live streams. And until next time, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And may the force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone. Once again, everyone, thank you so much for supporting my channel and watching my content. If you guys want to support me further, go over to Indiegogo and check out my latest campaign. This is a cosplay calendar. I've been doing cosplay calendars for the past few years, ever since Disney YouTube. I think I hurt Disney's feelings. But ever since YouTube hardcore shadow banned me, I've had to figure out different ways to branch out to grow my audience. And one of the things that I was always into growing up was dressing up in costumes, because I'm a Halloween baby. So I was like, hey, I'll start doing calendars. Well, you guys in the audience told me to start doing calendars. But if you guys are interested in backing and having one of these in your hands, yes, you can actually get a calendar and you guys can have it in your hands, put it up on your wall, put it on your desk, go and check it out. I got calendars, I got books, I got posters. If you guys are interested in any of that, go over to my campaign and back it. It is linked down below in the description. I truly appreciate all of your guys' support. You guys are awesome. Again, this is linked down below in the description of this video. Go and check it out if you haven't already. And guys, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.